had really bad acne for over 15 years, and I cleared it with food naturally in 30 days. And there were 6 game-changing habits that I used to start that process. And I have a feeling you might be doing the exact opposite of these habits. So I wanted to share them with you today to help you kickstart your natural acne clearing journey. So, Lego. Hi there, my name is Therese, and after 15 years of acne struggles, I finally cleared my skin naturally and created my acne clearing program, the Clear Code, to help you do the same. 10 years and thousands of clients later, I've made it my life's work to get you clear skin without harsh chemicals, pills, and/or crazy hormones. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. The first habit that I think you are going to be surprised to hear, is that I started to eat more. I have a feeling if you're on the internet, which you are right now, that you've been told that eating a lot less of certain things will help you clear your acne. So no more gluten, dairy, sugar, eggs, all the things. Those are the things that are going to help you get clear skin. Am I right? Unfortunately, this action step can be very detrimental because it's not the right way to do it. When I first started my natural acne clearing journey, one of the things that I did was I did a deep dive into so much research around natural acne clearing, what it meant to heal your acne holistically, why we were breaking all the things. And one thing that I discovered was something called the gut-skin axis, which basically meant that what happens in our gut shows up in our skin. There were 2 doctors, John H. Stokes and Donald Pillsbury. If you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me talk about them before. But basically, they both postulated that what happens in the gut impacts the skin, like I just said. And they recommended that patients of theirs start to use Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium live active cultures, like found in yogurt nowadays, for example, to positively impact their acne. This was their recommendation. They felt that if you could eat those healthy live bacterial cultures, you could potentially address skin issues. And it worked. Now, fun fact for you. We have 3 pounds of bacteria from here to the other end. Literally 3 pounds. You heard me right, 3. And that bacteria keeps us alive. It's good. We want that. Okay, we like this bacteria. 2 thumbs up. That being said, it can often be a little wonky, right? There's 2 types of bacteria, generally speaking. There's a lot more than 2 types, but I'm going to lump them into 2 groups. We have opportunistic and then we have beneficial. Beneficial is good, opportunistic, bad. And if and when we have a diet high in processed foods, low in live active cultures, low in fruits and vegetables, low in all the healthy natural foods that we should be eating, we run the risk of creating an overgrowth of the wrong type of bacteria and not feeding the right type. So that being said, what I realized was that by having a kind of very specific processed foods diet, and by having a lot of the same foods every day or every week or every month, I was really limiting my body's ability to naturally heal, to lower inflammation. And I was really not supporting my gut health. So I started to eat a lot more stuff. One of the best things that happened was that a lot of my chronic constipation issues went far, far away. I would go to the bathroom more regularly, and more than that too. I think it's really important to keep in mind that if and when you're on a highly restrictive diet, or you're not eating a lot of things, or you're thinking a lot about food and there's a lot of food fear, you run the risk of creating more stress and more anxiety about the problem. It can actually do you more harm emotionally and from a stress perspective than it will do good. Like, don't underestimate the power of having pizza with your friends and a beer on a Friday night. Don't underestimate that. I think there is this kind of movement to be highly restrictive and to not have anything that's fun or delicious and to just only have cruciferous vegetables and salmon. And that's not what we're gonna go for here. So I ate more, and I think you should too. The second habit that I employed, that I still employ to this day, and a lot of my friends make fun of me for it, and I actually do need to work on it, is that I did 90% less topically. I threw away 90% of my products, so 9 out of 10. I basically kept a moisturizer and that's it. SPF I'm crazy about sunscreen, but a moisturizer and SPF, and that's it. This is what you need on a basic level. You need a gentle cleanser, a gentle moisturizer, a spot treatment, and then maybe some type of acne treatment and or gentle exfoliant once a week, twice a week maybe. You do not need a lot of products, and honestly, I'd say one of the biggest mistakes I see with clients that come to me is they are trying a new topical routine every 4 to 6 weeks, or even one product. One new product every 4 to 6 weeks can wreak a lot of havoc. Let me tell you, it can. Let's say, for example, you have a gentle cleanser, a gentle moisturizer, but then you buy, which is super common, like a 3-pack set of an acid, some type of brightening, something, and then a toner. And then you use them all at the same time and things kind of go haywire, or you purge a lot. It's almost impossible to tell which product it is. It could be the combination of all three. Like, it's very, very hard to know. And I would say that was a huge mistake that I constantly made with my acne. Was I would get really frustrated naturally, and I would want to like blast my skin. You know, I just want to kill everything because it was so oily and irritated. And then the more you do that, the more irritated things get, and then the more you buy like it just becomes this horrible domino effect. So that being said, even as I say all of that, don't stop all of your products right now. Taper off them slowly. Do less from a skincare perspective, but pick one thing at a time and come off it 4 weeks at a time. So let's say you're on a 10-step skincare routine right now. Pick one product that you know your skin doesn't love. Maybe it feels a little irritated, dry, angry, etc. Pick that one product and start to use it every other night instead of nightly. And then next week, use it every 3 nights. That's how you taper. The following week, use it every 4 nights. Do not go cold turkey, but still you do far less. Don't do what I did. I went extremely cold turkey. Don't do it. Pick one product and slowly taper off until you're at the bare basics. Okay, this third habit, it is a huge thing. It's kind of an annoying habit though, but it's real. And that is that I was over it. I was over the identity of acne. I was over having acne. I was over waking up in the morning and feeling my face for new breakouts. I was over the whole thing. Basically, the habit was that I broke an identity, if that makes sense. I had been someone who had been dealing with acne for 15 years. And something about the fact that I had a really horrible dermatologist appointment, I explain a lot more about it in a lot of my videos. I'll share one here. At my final dermatologist appointment, the dermatologist barely cared. She gaslit me. She was like, I don't know what else to tell you. You've tried everything. We have this $500 light treatment. It may or may not work. It was a really awful, let's be clear, dermatologist appointment. Nothing about it was good. Clear that we had tried everything traditional. Short of Accutane, I didn't like the idea of Accutane, but everything else we had tried. There was no other option on the table for me. Okay. There were no other options on the table for me. And I had been asking for 15 years if my Dr. Pepper, Skittles, pizza diet, my bagel and cream cheese for breakfast, all of these things, I had been asking about the link between nutrition and diet and all these things for years. And everyone told me no, and that I was crazy for years. But something about this final dermatologist appointment really allowed me to trust my intuition, number one. And then number two, that led me to kind of really taking a stand for myself and saying, like, this isn't my life anymore. I'm not gonna have constant acne all the time. I will do whatever it takes to figure this out. And I think, you know, that's a kind of a difficult habit maybe for you to start on today. But I think something to consider is just how much of an identity acne has become for you, like how much of your life has started to revolve around acne. And I think the day that you decide that you don't want to live like that anymore, a lot of things can shift. I think the thing that was the most powerful for me here was that I had decided it was clear skin or bust. I wasn't going to another dermatologist. I wasn't going to another X, Y, and Z herbalist. I was going to figure this out and I was going to get it done. And so I think, yeah, that habit, it was foundational. It's a little like tricky to describe, but I was not going to be someone who had acne anymore. That was not going to be, that habit, that habitual identity was not me anymore. The fourth habit that helped to clear my acne was, again, a little surprising, I think, but that was that I decided to work out in a way that worked for me. I cleared my acne, I think, when I was 26 or 27. It was a while ago now. But so all throughout like high school, college, I never liked working out. Terrible. Really didn't like it. And then when I was in my early 20s, so like 23 years old, when I was 23 or 24 years old, one of my best friends got into the New York City half marathon lottery, and she asked me if I wanted to run with her. And my first thought was, that sounds horrible. And then my second thought was, that sounds cool. And so I decided to do it. And one thing, this was all happening at the same time, me clearing my acne plus this, and training to become a fitness instructor. There were all these things that came together. But for me, I had always hated working out, right? And I hated working out because I associated it with, I don't know if you had this experience, but when I was in 5th grade, for example, we would go out to like run on the track, right? And they would just sprint and just be like, go! And everyone would sprint. I'd last like 2.5 seconds, barely breathing, fake some injury, and not run at all anymore. And what I realized, though, that being said, was when I started to train for this half marathon, I warmed up at my own pace. I have asthma. And when I was asked to run as quickly as possible without warming up at all, it was hell on earth. Heck on earth, okay? But when I slowly warmed up while I was doing these 3 months of training for this half marathon, I realized that I actually was an incredible endurance athlete. I was in really great shape, and I had an amazingly strong, powerful body. I just wasn't doing what was best for me. I was listening to other people. So once I started this process of working out, warming up, running in a way that worked for me, that led me down the path of exploring other exercise options. I tried a bunch of different New York City workouts. I did a lot of kickboxing stuff, kickboxing plus yoga, high intensity, all these different types of classes that I loved, that I had never known exercise could be. I was used to just going to sit, I remember in college, they had this like dark brick room with no windows. It was stuffy, dark, gross. And like you were supposed to just do the elliptical for an hour. That's horrible. But I realized at a certain point during my acne clearing journey, how awesome exercise felt for me as long as I was doing the thing that worked for me. Second reason I started to work out in a way for me was a tricky reason. And that is that it supported healthy detoxification. Because I had been on the birth control pill and off oral antibiotics, all these different things my whole life, right? I struggled with constant and chronic constipation. Is that you? Let me know. This constipation was so annoying. I was always bloated. I would maybe go 2 to 3 days without going to the bathroom. The worst. And when I started to train for this half marathon and my kickboxing classes and all these things, I was going to the bathroom. And you know what? It was amazing. I wasn't bloated anymore. I felt like I had a regular schedule. Everything was so different, and it was wonderful. Another reason working out was so important was because it helped to manage my stress and anxiety, which positively impacts hormone levels, which then can lower sebum levels at the pore. When I walk for 10,000 steps or more a day, or when I go for a run, or when I work out every day, I feel way more powerful, way more calm, far less anxious. It's a really big, important hinge point habit for me. Working out, for me, was a habit that positively impacted my skin because it, number one, helped me detoxify out all of the bad things properly, not only via the poo, but via sweat, and it helped to manage my stress hormones. And so it had this kind of two-pronged effect, but I will say the most important part of this whole thing is that I worked out in a way that worked for me. If what I just described, like running a half marathon, sounds horrible to you, don't do it. Don't do it. Do something that speaks to you. Just get your body moving and sweating. The fifth habit that I employed that will, I think, surprise you was that I stopped getting any type of facials. I like lasers and facials for anti-aging and scar healing only. If I had active acne, going to get a facial was positive for this active acne for about 5 to 7 days. And then it all stopped. Basically, when and if you go to get a facial, you're opening up a lot of pores, you're potentially spreading bacteria, and there can often be a purge effect later, which is the worst. Like, I can't think of anything worse than if and when you're dealing with active acne, you go and get a facial and it gets worse. Then it would often get better for 3 to 5 days, but the whole process would start over again because I hadn't got to the root of the issue. And I found facials were just kind of a waste of time, money, energy, effort, and also like my soul, because every time I left, I would feel hopeful and it would never work. Again, I think from a scarring, anti-aging perspective, facials can be great, but in terms of dealing with active current acne, I find that it can be very tricky for them to actually work. The 6th habit that I employed was I stopped using all of the random supplements and herbs and or oral antibiotics that I was given by doctors. Now, if you're on medicine, always chat with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. But that being said, I remember towards the end, I had started to look into all these different herbs. There's all these different herbs I could take, right, on the internet that told me you can take milk thistle or saw palmetto or what's the other one? There's one for stress, ashwagandha, all these different ones, right? And I had tried them all. And all of them, like, I didn't quite know. Was it working? I don't know. And it just felt like a money pit. And also, when you aren't clear, I have so many clients come to me and there's like conflicting herbs, let's say. So one helps to lower estrogen and the other helps to raise estrogen, or one helps to lower progesterone and the other helps to raise progesterone, and they'll be taking both. That just gets you nowhere. And so I found that the use of just indiscriminate random supplements was not good for my wallet, mental health, and then also the oral antibiotics would always work for a little bit and then stop, which was also not good for my mental health. So I stopped that as well. Now, I have a feeling all of these habits speak to you because you're kind of at a loss as it relates to your acne, right? I have a feeling you've tried the birth control pill, spironolactone, potentially Accutane more than once, all the topicals, and you're just feeling like you don't know what to do or where to go anymore. And I had a client just like you. Her name was Vivi. You can see her before and after pictures here. And Vivi has a really big career. She's a dog mom. She's got a lot going on. And by the time she had found the clear code, she was also like you, just kind of at a loss. And once she joined the program and started to take really specific action steps to support her unique acne challenges based on her lifestyles, which is also another kind of detail about habits, right? That's really important. That if and when you decide on action steps to start to improve your acne, they have to be sustainable for you. If you know you work 24-hour shifts, for example, you can't suddenly decide that you're going to cook every meal at home. That will never work. So you have to define sustainable action steps for you. And that's what we did for Vivi, and her skin was magically transformed very, very soon via the clear code. So you can check out her image there, and also we'll have her interview coming soon. If you're interested in learning more about how you can start to clear your acne from the inside out holistically, even if you've tried a lot of things, by just making simple lifestyle changes, apply to the clear code below via the link, and we'll hop on the phone, learn more about your acne history, and see if it's a good fit. And if it sounds like I can help you reach your goals for your skin, I'll share a little bit more about what I do, how it all works, and then you and I can decide if working together is a good fit for both of us. If you want to just learn a little bit more about your acne, if you want to understand why you're breaking out in the first place, if you're just kind of at a loss about the whole thing, check out our Root Acne Triggers webinar below. It's a large free masterclass where we go over all of the root acne challenges that you're most likely dealing with and give you 9 action steps you can take to start to clear your acne from the inside out. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new one, and send this to anyone that you know that might be struggling with acne challenges. I would love them to know that there is a holistic path for them available. See you in the next one.